districts not within a high school district. Truth in taxation hearings for Cochise County's tax levies were held on July 8th. Other tax authorities levying taxes have also taken action to adopt budgets and levies, which are included in the attached exhibit.
All right. So before we move to approve the agenda item, let's just have any discussion on the levy charts that the clerk is displaying on the board right now.
I have comments on PSPRS and Corp. And I had asked either Ms. Gilman or Ms. Finhouse to comment on how much money we might get back into the PSPRS account from
Your mic.
Sure.
Your mic.
Oh, that's okay.
Sorry.
I understand.
So
There you go.
we talked about this a little bit, and so if the public missed that because I didn't have the microphone close enough, we have in the past transferred money out of the sheriff's budget, which he had left over, into the PSPRS account for the county. So I am hoping that we will do that again. And so we have talked many times about various redistributions throughout the county from one city to another. So I'd like to remind everybody that Sierra Vista's fire and police PSPRS is now the unfunded liability is now $40 million. And the county's Corp and PSPRS is $36 million. So before, and this is not a debt in terms of we took out a loan. It is a liability, which is a lot like a debt, except fortunately there's no interest on it, and I hope to keep it that way. The combined totals of 40 million plus 36 million for a great majority of my district is then $76 million in the hole for most of my constituents. So anything that we can do to alleviate that issue, which has been around a really long time, and I've been talking about it since I was on the city council in Sierra Vista in 2012, 2010. So let's keep that in mind as we go forward in everything that we do having to do with raising taxes or not, that my constituents are in the whole 76 million from the get-go. So Ms. Finhouse, could you tell us about what we might expect in the way of additional payments to the PSPRS and Corp by next month?
Yes, sir. We are still closing out the fiscal year, but currently the sheriff has an excess from last year's budget of $975,154.
Okay.
How about the rest of the county?
The rest of the county, give me a few minutes.
I mean, any extra budget from any department we should throw at our pension liability.
Gentlemen, I would caution that we have to look at the AELR, the expenditure limit as well. So if we're too close to the expenditure
So paying
limit,
off the pension liability hits the expenditure limit?
It does. It is a source of consternation for counties that it's not exploited.
We talked with our friends at the County Supervisors Association that small counties are being punished for being fiscally responsible with this expenditure limit. I mean, I can understand how they would want to limit spending because but a lot of those other counties, I mean, I should show these two guys that chart that he provided us with all the different special districts on it and how it's out of control. I mean, it's out of control.
We have them on the board right in front of us.
Well, the CSA's got a chart. If you saw like there was actually special districts back in 1930, right? But then all of a sudden in the 80s, there was this boom, of special districts. And what a lot of counties and cities are doing is they're offloading expenditures into these special districts, so that then allows them to increase spending. And then the counties and the cities that don't go do special districts and try to keep it within their general fund get punished for that, because we're not offloading and creating special districts and raising taxes and spending in special districts. So I can't believe there can't be a compromise. We're going to work on that. That's one of the bills that we're going to talk about, but that's an issue. But I mean, we should be able then at least to go up to our expenditure limit and then put the rest of it in cash reserve or look at a tax rebate of some kind. Maybe property tax rebate next year if we got extra money.
Mr. Chair, I just happened to notice that we have our treasurer, Ms. Trawick, with us today. And if you would like to, you could tell us what you
Yeah.
think about special districts.
She was quietly sitting there, not probably wanting to get dragged into the debate, but if she wants to come in and add 2 cents.
I was behaving.
What is good about
I'm sure that was very scary for you all. All right. I do agree with Chairman Antonori. Special districts provide services that are not provided by the county. And so they are actually voted for by individual communities to get the services that aren't provided for them through the county general fund tax. So fire districts, they are not covered. There is a tax that is countywide called Fire District Assistance Tax, FDAT, and that is distributed to all, well, it's levied on all parcels in the county, but it's distributed to the special district fire districts. So because, well, all right, fire suppression, of course, is not covered by the county. There's nothing along those lines. However, road districts for areas that people have developed themselves, you know, or small communities that they've created. High Knoll is one in the past that they have voted to come together as a subdivision or a community that needs a service. And so they come together, they decide that they are willing to pay a tax to provide things that the county just can't. If the county took over every dirt road in the county, we would be bankrupt. There are other special districts that, based on absolute necessity, such as hospital districts, because we do not have a quote unquote county hospital. And so we have the Northern Cochise Hospital and the Benson Hospital are both, or San Pedro Valley Hospital. They are both taxing special districts. They have like a board, but they also, the hospital itself runs itself based on user fees, your medical fees, that kind of thing.
I'd like to ask you a question about the hospital district. So I know that who decides that overall if there will be one? Is it the Board of Supervisors?
No,
No. So who would do that?
it's up to the voters.
So in other words, I know that Douglas, when we had the county hospital in Douglas, there was a hospital district.
Right.
When I was working there in 2012, we had it. Now it's gone, and I don't know who decides. When you say the voters, somebody has to bring it to the voters. So who is that? Is that like some kind of a group that gets together?
It's usually a grassroots effort of a community. Now, the Douglas Hospital was not a district.
What was it?
It was a county hospital.
Hospital.
Right.
And
Okay.
because they were bankrupt, that's why they went away.
Well, there's a lot more to that. Then that's not, believe me, I was there when it closed. So that's not
I
the
was
only
here
thing.
when they started. So
I was too. But so the thing is that because we don't have a county hospital, Benson and San Pedro, I guess that would be Canyon de Vista. Is that the hospital that gets?
No, Canyon Vista Hospital is privately owned.
So who's the San Pedro district? Who?
San Pedro Valley
Yeah.
Hospital is in Benson.
So
and
it's Benson. There's
taxing
two
dis-
taxing
Yes.
districts for Benson.
No. Northern Cochise Hospital is in Wilcox,
Okay.
the Wilcox area. And San Pedro Valley Hospital is in the Benson area.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Is that what you wanted to know?
Yeah, I wanted to know what your opinion was, Madam Trawick, so I thank you for your time.
I think she just said there's certain districts that are net positive.
Well,
And then she'll-
all of them are by choice. That's why it's a secondary tax.
Right.
It is not a primary levy. It is a secondary tax, and it has gone to the community people to decide that they want those services badly enough that they will be taxed for them.
Well, then my next question is, what responsibility does the county have overseeing that use of the money. So I take Perterville, 4 years getting APS got a check and people didn't have lights. So at what point does the county have responsibility to make sure those funds are being used to provide the services that the people actually voted on?
Every one of these districts has an elected board. However, if you're talking about Purtleville Light District as opposed to Purtleville Fire,
Yep, I'm talking about light.
the light districts are yours. So
So,
just saying.
so that's the only one that's just mine, right? Just the light district that you know
We
of.
got, how many?
As far as general, as far as special district, the
Yeah.
flood control district is also under the county.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
But while we're on really quick, while I've got one more second, I do believe that special districts are the most grassroots type of government that there is. Every one of the people serving on one of these boards is an elected person. However, there is no salary attached to it. They can be truck drivers and housewives and everything else. They are doing their best to provide a service for their community that we as the county cannot provide for them. And so I give them grace. I definitely, if there's a district that needs help with something, because I act as their bank, I'm right there. I have been to Mescal J6 so many times. I have a P.O. box there. And so it's just such a tough place for people to do things. Most of them do not have more than like 2 or 3 employees. They are adhering to employment laws and safety regulations and everything else that they just want to help their folks. And so I just hope that you guys, when you're interacting with them, take a breath, because they really do a huge job for absolutely nothing other than the ulcer that comes with it.
There are other special districts as well. So let's read some off here. I've got the list now. This is astonishing to me. Of course, like I said, at statehood, fire districts actually existed at statehood. Special road districts and drainage districts were, when we became a state, they actually were already sort of in statute. But then as we go along the timeline, electrical districts, county libraries, irrigation water districts, sanitary districts, generic county improvement districts that could be a variety of projects that can fall under that, hospital districts, flood control districts, municipal street and highway improvement bonds was considered a special districts, multi-county water conservation district, community park districts, county facilities districts, county transportation excise taxes, regional transportation authority districts, county TV improvement districts, groundwater replenishment districts, agriculture preservation districts, cotton pest control districts, jail facility districts, county jail districts, county and RTA districts, theme park districts. That was a new one that was just added. Sports and recreation districts, multi-jurisdictional water districts and facilities districts, revitalization districts, broadband service districts. I mean, I don't know. Sounds like a lot of government to me.
And
I don't know.
you didn't even mention fire districts.
No, I did. They were there at the beginning. Like I said, fire districts were there when we became a state. They were.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah, there was only 3 at statehood. There were fire districts, special road districts, and drainage districts were actually at the inception of the state back in 1912. But I got this chart. I mean, I love charts because it's eye candy to me. I mean, look at all of these special districts. It's just insane how many there are out there. And half of them are county. And of those, half of them can be done by the Board of Supervisors. We can just vote it in, or we can refer it to the ballot. And it's not necessarily grassroots. It's not like somebody wanted to start a road improvement district or a local whatever district. A lot of these are sloughed off by counties and in many cases cities by referring it to the voters. The voters still approve it. Don't get me wrong. You're correct on that. The voters still have to approve it, but we can initiate it. And some counties and cities do that, like in Pima County with the pet hospital and animal control district, that they did in Pima County, which was the reason I moved here 10 years ago, was because of that.
Well, and I'd like to throw out there too that the big difference with Arizona compared to, say, maybe Wyoming or Texas, or we have 15 counties. They are all gigantic with tons and tons of vacant land. And so you may have pockets that are communities that still require things like a fire district.
Sure.
And there's not access from the county seat or to provide those services right in an actual way that would be borne by all of the county to pay for. And so that's where these pop up from nowhere. You know, you like Gold Canyon well, they're kind of in Maricopa and kind of in Pinal. But, you know, they started out as basically an RV community, and then they started developing and developing. And they ended up with special districts because the county was so far removed from where they actually needed the services and they were living. But that's one of the big problems with development as the way it grows in Arizona. You get somebody that buys a big ranch, decides they don't want a ranch anymore, sells it off in chunks, and the people that buy the chunks do, hey, you know what? We don't have water. You know, we want a water district. We want to make sure that the water is pure and available at all times rather than drilling 2,700 wells for their community. And so there are a lot it's necessity that has created a lot of these. I don't know about the TV district, but yeah, and
But
I'm
at the
not
same time,
surprised.
people have to have a responsibility when they buy land to know they just can't buy land and assume you're going to get water, or you're going to assume to get all these services, or have the county build you a road too. I mean, that's why hopefully when we talk with the county supervisors, there should be something in real estate, especially we are so cheap in our prices that people buy it, you know, and it's not that much to them. But then when they come once a year, they don't want to have cows and flies, and they don't want all that stuff. So and they expect water and they expect a county road. That just doesn't happen. So there should be maybe even our county, you know, website, you know, just buying a piece of land does not mean you're going to get county services, because the more information, the more they get hit in the head with that, maybe they'll be more responsible for what they buy. That's just my take.
Gotcha. All right. A couple questions I had for Stacy. It looks like.
Thank you, Madam President.
I'm sorry. It looks like, with the exception of a few, most of these are showing a decrease in taxes, right? So by the parentheses, and that's where I'm assuming the tax rate has stayed the same, but the valuation has gone up. So they just decided to do what we basically did, which was reduce the rate to avoid the truth in taxation. Is that what most of these are, would you say? Or you may not know the answer to that.
Yeah,
But
the inner workings of the decisions.
But it shows a significant number, if you can look on there, if people can see it, of cities. Every city it has.
Rate increase, decrease, the second to last column. A
Yeah,
lot of parentheses.
yeah, which is good,
Chair, Mr. Chair.
right? Is that what I'm seeing here, or am I reading this wrong?
No, you're seeing decreases across the board in many places. There are some significant increases. I can try and pull up last year's value.
No, I'm just wanting to make sure I'm reading this right, because that's a good sign. You know, there's a few that went up. A couple of the school districts went up. The fire districts are like 50-50. Half of them stayed steady and the other half of them raised taxes. And that's where I had the meeting with some folks. The Bowie and San Simon fire districts raised taxes significantly on those. So I'm looking at them.
The Cochise College went down, I guess. They went in a decrease instead of increase, right? Is that what I'm seeing? Very small percentage. Very top one.
Oh, yeah. A tiny decrease, yeah. But they did not raise taxes. That's good.
Darn it. I'm
Yeah.
joking.
I wonder if Ms. Lowenheim has any insight into administration of special districts that you'd like to share for the public's benefit.
No, she's,
Specifically to what?
Anything you want to say about administering special districts?
Well, they submit their annual reports to the clerk's office as well as their annual budgets each year. So we process and track those.
Okay. And you got enough help to do all that stuff? Sorta? Okay, you working
It
hard?
can be challenging at
Yeah.
times, but yes.
Okay. So we do appreciate all the effort that you put into that. Thank you very much.
all right. So with that, any other discussion?
We do need a motion.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do the motion here. I just wanted to get that discussion. All right. So back to agenda item number 1. Can I get a motion to move agenda item number 1?
Mr. Chair, I move we adopt the tax rates and levies for Cochise County taxing entities as set forth in the attached exhibit.
Second.
All right. So the motion before the board is to adopt the tax rates and levies for Cochise County taxing entities. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right. Motion carries 3-0. The tax rates have been set. Please forward to Mr. Leindecker, and I'm sure Ms. Traywick will be looking forward to being the bank that invests this money until it's appropriated and spent, which is pretty impressive, I would add. Right, right. So she was very, very good about making the county money, which is good because that means we don't have to raise taxes. Traywick is making money for the taxpayers. So, all right. So the next meeting, any discussion on this? Next meeting is going to be in 34 minutes at 11 o'clock. It will be oh, what did I do with this? Am I off? It's a work session. There we go. It's going to be a work session. Where am I? I'm a little lost here. Okay, the direction regarding healthy and detention medical director. The health. I'm sorry, I just did health and detention medical director position. All right, great. I'm looking forward to that one actually. All right, so no more. All right, we're adjourned. Thanks everybody.